How are you? My name is David Rodriguez, and today I'm going to present my evidence number 3. First, I'm going to talk about 5 events from last decades that really marked the world. The first event is the creation of Google. Google began as a research project of Larry Page, who enrolled in Stanford's computer science graduate program in 1995. There, he met fellow CS student Sergey Brin. The two stayed in touch as Page began looking into behavior of linking on the World Wide Web. The second event is the Twin Towers attack or 9/11 attack. On September 11, 2001, 19 militants associated with the Islamic extremist group Al-Qaeda hijacked 4 airplanes and carried out suicide attacks against targets in the United States. 2 of the planes were flown into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York City. The third event is the economic crisis. Financial crisis of 2007 and 2008, also called supreme mortgage crisis, severe contraction of liquidity in global financial markets that originated in the United States as a result of the collapse of the US housing market. The fourth event is Curiosity land on Mars. Curiosity, also called Mars Science Laboratory, US robotic vehicle designed to explore the surface of Mars, which determined that Mars was once capable of supporting life. The rover was launched by an Atlas V rocket from Cape Canaveral, Florida, on November 26, 2011, and landed in Gale Crater on Mars on August 6, 2012. The last event is the COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic, also known as the coronavirus pandemic, is an ongoing global pandemic of coronavirus disease caused by a severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus 2, or SARS-CoV-2. Now I'm going to talk about some important terms and their relation to the 5 events stated earlier. The first term is globalization. It is the word used to describe the growing independence of world economics, cultures, and populations, brought about by crossing border trade in goods and services, technology, investment, people, and information. The second term is terrorism, which is violent criminal acts committed by individuals and/or groups who are inspired by or associated with designated foreign terrorist organizations or nations. Third one is unipolar world. The disintegration of the communist bloc put an end to the bipolarism and left a great void in power that began to be filled by the United States of America, a country that became the only remaining superpower and did so practically with no opposition. Forces that were powerful enough to counter their influence and reach. The fourth term is the digital era, the period where digital technologies play a prominent role in shaping up and regulating the behaviors, performance, standards, etc. of societies, communities, organizations, and individuals. I would say the creation of Google is related to the digital era because it is something we use every day in our daily lives, in things like school, or maybe only looking for something we want to know more of. Uh, the Twin Towers attack, I'll say, is terrorism because obviously a terrorist group attacked the Twin Towers. The third event was the economic crisis. I'll say is globalization because it showed that even a economic crisis in one country, because of globalization and how economics work in the 21st century, it can affect the whole world. The curiosity land on Mars, I say, is related to the unipolar world because the US have really no competition on space missions. So I'll say it's related to that. The COVID-19 pandemic, I'll say, is related to the globalization because, as we all know, it affected the whole world. Even though in some countries, many people passed away, or they were not affected as much as others, still the economic crisis happened. To finish with my presentation, I'm going to answer four questions. The first one is, why did globalization emerge? This is due to a variety of factors, but important ones include improved trade, increased labor and capital mobility, and improved technology. The second question is, in most cases, what caused the terrorist attacks of the 20th century? Terrorist attacks are caused most by discrimination of religious beliefs from oppressed groups in the Middle East. Uh, how does the end of the Cold War relate with the unipolar world? It relates since in the Cold War, it was a bipolar world with Russia and the United States. And after that, the United States were the clear victors and it became a unipolar world. The last question is, how has the digital era influenced today's society? The digital era is everything today since we rely heavily in technology to do everyday chores like searching things on Google or using platforms for educational or work purposes. So this was my presentation. I hope you like it, and here are the references.